Hello, YouTube. Kayce's back. Oh, that was last week.
Last week.
Okay, well, who cares now?
That's so
I'm
true.
old news now.
So we're just talking football. Enjoy, like, subscribe.
Bye-bye.
Comment.
Or actually, hello. Because this is
I
the start.
understand. I understand.
Someone's FaceTiming
So-
me.
I go, oh, do you need to take it?
No.
Who is it?
I think it was 1
Someone I haven't
Kayce,
talked to
2
in a while.
Katie,
I missed my hand a bit though.
3 more me, and 4 him.
For what?
I was ranking the claps.
Oh.
I thought it
Oh, I had a bad
I
one.
thought it was 1, 2, 3, 4.
Are
We
you
both
gonna
had bad ones.
Are you gonna tell people why we had to clap, like specifically?
Yeah,
why?
because we were getting the mics ready to do the show.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes do we have discussions before the show that we shouldn't have on the air? Sometimes do we talk about body parts? Sometimes
Okay,
do we
well-
talk about
Not ours,
female anatomy? Sure.
but not ours.
Not ours, no.
We were paying respect.
Respect, yes.
Well, I mean, if we were talking like that about like a coworker, I would never.
I mean, I wouldn't either.
No, never. But we were paying all due respect to someone who deserves it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Shout out.
You know, I was thinking about.
Uh-oh.
Actually, I can't because I can't say it.
We can't say anything here anymore?
No, because it would expose the conversation we had.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right,
Also,
if y'all
we
don't have
just-
anything, I'm just gonna
So we should probably just be careful.
recite Straight Outta Compton.
I left my window open for a little bit too long on Sunday afternoon,
Yeah.
and a mosquito got in, and he just hasn't left.
I have a Band-Aid on my hand because I have mosquito bites that I scratched open.
So yeah, mine's just like it just hasn't left.
I
And
went-
like at night, it comes over and it's sleeping with me.
I think I have a
Damn.
spider bite on my leg.
Damn.
I'm waiting today to see if it goes south, because last time when I got bit by the brown recluse, it was about a day later, and then I just started getting sick. But I haven't gotten sick yet, but I got a big something down here.
Something.
Out of context, I can see where that would be funny.
Yeah.
Where are there brown recluses?
In
How do
Mississippi.
you know it's a
Oh.
Well, I got bit by brown recluse when I was 26, but now I've gotten bit by something. I've got something here.
Well, everybody, like the fact that have you had run-ins with bugs?
Yeah, mosquitoes, but I've never seen something like, oh, that's a
Oh, yeah,
spider
let's not
bite.
talk about this
Y'all gotta
too much.
move
Yeah,
down.
no.
Y'all gotta move down
Yeah.
south and
No,
Don't
let's
eat-
not
just
talk about
don't
this
eat the
too much.
bugs.
Okay.
Let's talk about college football.
Because we have
Yeah.
somebody on the podcast that doesn't like bugs.
Yes.
Or 2 people.
Thank you.
There's 2 people.
Yeah, Kayce.
Yeah.
She was the second. She was the first. I mean, who's the second?
Me, bugs.
You don't like bugs?
No,
He doesn't
we're
want to
not
eat
eating
them. He doesn't want to eat them.
Oh, not eating bugs. Yeah. You'll
just-
probably eat the bugs though, Jack.
The point is that
We're
it's
probably already eating the bugs. And
You're
don't know
probably
it.
eating the
Yes.
bugs now. You just don't know it.
No, I'm not. And then people were like, "Oh, you like lobster, don't you?" I'm like, "No, I don't. That's peasant food."
also lobster's really good. It's the time of year though where the bugs they're back.
It is. Lobster did finesse its way one time.
One of the greatest marketing.
Lobster made itself rich food when it is in fact poor food.
But it's so good.
It's not like it's not.
Is it good?
the lobster tail.
There's
I
like
think it's
no
good.
meat.
Yeah, but you get some melted butter on that shit, man.
You get melted butter on anything.
Melted butter with a side of lobster.
Yeah, but it's.
Lobster tail's great. I don't.
I
care
don't.
what
I
it
don't
says.
care. I'm with her. I like lobster tail.
It's good.
Get a good surf and turf.
Crawfish,
I would say
think,
lobster
is
tail is probably the
overrated.
best tail you can eat.
Nah, because there's
Oxtail?
probably some good tail out there that
Where's some good tail?
we haven't experienced
Crawfish
yet. 'cause
tails are
it's
good.
Yeah, but there's
No.
no meat in that.
Yeah,
I
but
had
they're
my
you
first
have to have a lot of
crawfish.
Yeah.
them.
Full body crawfish. I had a boil. Like that shit sucks to.
I don't like
clean.
I don't like crawfish. I like the crawfish tails and crawfish meat and pasta is good, but I don't like sucking the brains out and doing all that shit.
It's too much work.
Too
It
much
was.
work.
It was
Um,
shit though.
Should we
My
talk about
first
college
Shout out
football?
to your son and thank him for driving you by here.
Oh, yeah.
He had to go to work, right?
He did.
Okay.
He's bringing home the bacon.
Literally works at a bacon factory.
It's been a tough year for him.
Yeah.
It has.
He's not even 3 months old yet.
I mean, young adulthood is rough.
No, he started off in that great restaurant, didn't work out.
Yeah.
And then,
He was Jimbo's.
and then he
Graduate
also was a
assistant, right?
producer
No,
for
Dion.
us. And he just really, Noah actually beat him up because he messed up episodes.
We're gonna get to the podcast. I have an actual story, and then we're gonna get to the podcast.
Yes.
This it doesn't involve you, but good Lord, Noah. People around here. Anyway, show hasn't even started yet, Noah. Anyway, I'm at Home Depot on Saturday, and I'm buying me, yards up. So I got to buy me a little I don't have a big yard, so I bought me a little electric mower just to knock it down. So I was in there. I was with my boy Tommy, and this woman. I was wearing my Mississippi State shirt. This woman comes up and says, "Mississippi State, you don't see that a lot around here." She had a little bit of a southern accent, but not much. And this was in Paramus, New Jersey. And I was like, "No, you sure don't." She said, "Well, my best friend went to Mississippi State, but my husband loves college football, and I married an Aggie. And it's me, and he's an Aggie, and he loves it." And I say, "Okay." And I shook her hand, and yada, yada. And I said, we do a podcast on Necessary Roughness. My podcast partner's an Aggie. And we were at the front of the store. You know how these stores are big, these Home Depots and Lowe's. So you got two entrances, and I was dead in the middle of both entrances in the front. I walked from one entrance, and I was dead in the middle. So I was going back to the lawnmowers, which was in back left corner. Start walking back there, and I'm not even thinking about it anymore. About 5 minutes pass, and this man walks straight up to me, holds out his hand, and says, "I've been looking for you." And I said, "What?" And he said, I'm the Aggie."
Oh.
And so I met him. He was, I want to say his name was George, but it might not have been.
Just sounded right.
Yeah, but George the Aggie, let's say it's George, but now I don't think it was George. Anyway, I meet him, and he and I in Home Depot in Paramus, New Jersey, engage in a 45-minute conversation about college football and Jimbo's recruiting classes and Bobby Petrino and Texas A&M and everything. He didn't have the ring on, and he didn't grab my nuts, but he was an Aggie.
I went on
a
a date last night, and the girl was from Texas.
Yeah.
And
congratulations.
And then I said, well, I go on loads of dates.
No, I know, but from Texas, maybe she's,
but
nice old southern lady.
And then I was like, so what do you think about the Aggies? What do you think her response was?
Gig 'em?
No, she went to Bama.
Oh.
She said they're weird.
Yeah.
She said she went to a Aggie wedding once. She said it was the worst wedding she's ever been to. And she said she makes the mistake of calling them male cheerleaders like we do.
Can't do that. No, can't do that.
So I took a picture with him in the Home Depot. We'd take a picture, and he promised me he had never heard Unnecessary Roughness, but he loves consuming college football. He said he's going to seek us out and listen to us. So hopefully my friend is listening to this podcast. Possibly George. I'm almost certain it wasn't George, but I can see his face in my mind.
Was he a good representation of Aggies?
Fantastic.
See,
yes.
there you go.
Yeah, nice guy,
people.
Nicest guy you could ever meet.
We're good people.
We took a picture. He did gig him.
Thumbs up.
So I met an Aggie on Saturday
At Home Depot.
and hopefully
Classic.
in Paramus, New Jersey. Hopefully we have a new fan. The Aggie from
George, maybe not George. Don't let him lie to you. These two on the side of me, Jack and Brandon, like to talk a lot of shit about A&M.
I don't know that we've ever talked shit about A&M.
We've
spoken highly. We've spoken highly about. We talk about every team here.
And it's very funny that normally if I'm not here, like, oh, Kayce always brings up A&M. You guys bring up A&M.
I've never brought up A&M.
You both just talked about it. I didn't say shit.
I was telling you a story about meeting George the Aggie in the Home Depot.
Maybe not George.
Possibly wasn't George. Shout out to you, George.
College, I will say across the board, if you're going to find a college football fan and talk for 45 minutes, Home Depot is a place that's going to happen.
Oh, Saturday Home Depot, especially in the South. I imagine Saturday's Home Depot in the South are just nothing but college football talk.
My dad used to take my sister and I to Home Depot when we were younger, like old enough to where he could like let us like run around and just because we loved to look at the paint samples, like the cards, we would just pick out our he would just leave us there for like hours.
It is like every Home Depot is massive.
Yeah, love the lighting section. It was basically just like free babysitting. Home Depot. It
smells so good. It's like the faint wood but dirt smell. It's very distinct.
My dream purchase in life is I want to buy a building that used to be a Home Depot or a Lowe's or a Walmart.
Okay. And what are you going to do in there?
I want to just put like 4 or 5 basketball courts in there. I want to have an indoor golf thing. I just want to make it a sports paradise in there.
Like rollerblades.
You could have like 50 yards.
Bowling lanes, 50 yards of turf.
Football, so it could be like 7-on-7 or whatever.
Just I want to make it there's a, in every small town in the South, you have the Walmart.
Yep.
The old Walmart.
Yep.
And the old Walmart. That's every town in the South has that. Pretty much all of them. My town has the Walmart, the old Walmart, and the old Walmart. The old Walmart is empty right now, and I want to buy it.
How much it would probably still
millions,
be a lot.
Millions,
because I mean it's massive real estate.
What's the Walmart that we went to when we stayed in Starkville? Didn't you and I go to the Walmart together?
Oh yeah, we just walked across because we needed to I don't even know.
Was that the new one? The new one?
Oh, I think y'all went to the neighborhood market.
No,
it was Walmart.
It was a Walmart?
Yeah.
You go up whatever hotel we were staying at. You go like up a hill.
Yeah.
And then there's a Walmart and there's like a fast food restaurant right next. What hotel?
Massive one.
Yeah.
But
it has to be the new one.
There's not a hotel by the Walmart in Starkville. You guys are lying.
No, I'm not.
You
are. Then it was Target.
There's no Target in Starkville, Mississippi.
I'm telling you, Katie's going to look it up. I know for a fact
there's not a Walmart. The Walmart is down. Is 3 miles away from there. The Walmart's down the other end of town.
So there's not a Walmart Supercenter in Starkville, Mississippi at 110 Mississippi.
That's right next to a hotel?
No.
But it is.
What?
They're lying.
I have no answers. I can't even back you up.
What hotel did we stay at when we went to Starkville?
Didn't we stay at the Courtyard? No, we stayed at the La Quinta. La Quinta? Yeah, you went to the neighborhood market. It's right there.
That's not a Walmart.
That's a Walmart neighborhood market.
What's a Walmart?
It's different. I know what
it's different.
What's the difference?
The neighborhood market's supposed to be smaller.
It's a little grocery store. Yeah. It's their little grocery store.
But it's still Walmart.
But it's not a supercenter.
But
this is how Walmart wants to run out all the small families and businesses.
You couldn't get your tires done at that Walmart.
Yeah.
But you could get rotisserie
chicken.
It says
Walmart on the building.
Yeah, it's a Walmart neighborhood market.
So we went to a Walmart.
We went to a Walmart.
It's Walmart owns it.
But I'm right. You went to a neighborhood market. You didn't go to Walmart.
I'm looking.
I know. You don't have to look. I know where everything is.
Oh, okay.
This is his town.
Okay, I'm looking at her computer. We still went to a Walmart.
But it still says Walmart.
This is what gaslighting feels like.
That's Walmart.
It clearly says Walmart. That doesn't say Supercenter or Whole Market or whatever.
Put the green on it.
That is a Walmart neighborhood market.
Okay,
but
well,
what's
went to
the first
Walmart.
word you said out of your mouth? Walmart.
Yeah, but it ain't a Walmart. It's like saying...
If you go to a Wendy's in a food court, it's still a Wendy's.
Nah, a Dunkin' Donuts combined with Baskin Robbins isn't a regular Dunkin' Donuts.
But it's still Dunkin' Donuts.
It is, but it's not.
I'm right.
If you...
anything you try to spend.
Texas A&M Corpus Christi
it's
ain't
not
Texas A&M.
Good one.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
That was a good one. Yeah, there we go. Let's start a fucking show.
We win.
But there's only one Texas A&M. There's
they
a million
had us
Walmarts.
In the first half. I ain't gonna lie. They had us.
But nah, my boy Jack came through.
Yeah.
All right.
Damn.
Let's start the show. Hello and my voice crack?
No.
Hello and welcome to Unnecessary Roughness, Barstool's college football podcast, brought to you by
Brandon fucked up again.
Kayce's baby.
No, I heard we got a new sponsor.
We do?
George the
Aggie.
Yeah, George the Aggie.
George the Aggie.
Depot.
Shout out to you. You don't know it, but you've made a financial commitment to this show.
Yep.
I appreciate it. That'll be
sales will be calling you very soon.
That'll be $250,000.
Yes, thank you.
That's the low end, probably.
Yeah, but you know what? He can have it for $250. I can tell you that right now. So yeah.
That was a long cold open, but it was nice. It felt good.
It was good. Well, we don't have the time here built in where we have to talk about the advertiser anymore. So we have time to talk about other things.
That's nice. You demonetized us.
Again, I'm sorry about that.
I will say I tweeted about that last week, made the joke like, "Oh, so Brandon, you probably have me muted or blocked." I said, so Brandon lost our title sponsor while I was gone, and then tweeted the picture that Noah took of the four of us. And there were a lot of people that screenshot you blocking them because they made that same joke. They're like, be careful. And I was like, folks, I'm allowed to make that joke. You are not. It's like, you can't make fun of my sister. I can.
Yeah.
But you can't.
Yeah, fuck them.
I can make fun of you for losing our title sponsor. They can't.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed.
Okay.
All right. So maybe we'll have a title sponsor one day.
I think I've heard rumors it's back in the works.
Okay,
it's
good.
the off-season.
It's relationships. Like relationships sometimes things...
They go through some things.
Yeah.
Me and Kayce have fought before.
Yeah?
I won.
That's not true.
Yeah, I did.
Well, if win, you mean.
This is the ultimate win for her, though.
I know.
There's no... It's over. She won.
Yes.
It's no.
She left, and then the show lost a sponsor, and it may come back because she came back.
There were some conversations that were...
Well, right now, she hasn't won anything, but if it comes back because she's back, it's over.
See, the conversations
You're
while
stuck.
you were going through hell...
Stuck forever.
Yeah,
you were in, like, the, just the absolute blender of what happened. there were conversations on the side asking me when I was coming back because that was a huge caveat.
And I'll tell everybody this, to her credit, when it was all going down and I was in the mix, she didn't text me or call me one goddamn time.
Yes, I did.
Didn't either.
I know.
Because I knew you were. Well, you're a grown ass man.
Well, I checked on you.
She didn't text me. She didn't call me. She didn't say, "Hey, how you doing?"
Well, also I was texting you through Katie.
True.
I asked Katie, "Well,
you know that I checked on you."
Maybe.
People did come up to me like, "How's he doing?"
Yeah, I checked on you, but then when I get
care about you.
when I get the one-word answers, I'm like, all right, this is not time to to really dig. He knows I'm worried about him.
I'm a very easy tell. If I give you one-word answers on Twitter or on text, I'm not.
Yeah, you're not in the mood.
No, I'm not really into it.
Yeah, well, and also I told Katie, people were tweeting at me like, I really wonder how Kayce feels about this, and I was like, guys, I have a 1-month-old. I don't give a shit what's going on with Brandon right now.
You didn't really sleep through the night. You were just like, what happened? And we were like, oh, this.
Now you better thank your lucky stars maybe that I had that baby, because if I had not, maybe I'd have had stronger words for you.
Well, you know what? If you hadn't had the baby, you wouldn't have left, and then I wouldn't have lost a sponsor.
That's true.
Okay?
It's a good point. All right,
so
good point.
I think this all boils down to you being selfish and getting pregnant.
That is true. Because she could have read it the whole time.
They just keep dunking on me.
We keep winning.
Yeah.
We're allergic to winning over here. No, we're addicted to winning over here.
Yeah, and we're allergic to losing.
We're allergic to losing, yeah.
Yeah. We have a fun exercise today.
We do have a fun exercise.
Bulldogs, born and raised.
I'm going to lay it out for you right now. First exercise I've done in a long time.
5x5x5.
5x5x5. It's Jack Mack's 5x5x5. He came up with it, and it is 5 players with the most to prove, or 5 players who have something to prove this year.
Yeah, I did it by like most on the line, most to prove kind of thing.
5 players with the most to prove, 5 coaches with the most to prove, 5 teams with the most to prove.
And there's some crossover.
A lot of crossover, especially coaches and teams.
Yeah. And also, there's not a lot of running backs in the world with a lot to prove, so it's a quarterback.
So mine's
heavy.
all quarterbacks.
Mine is too, but mine
is too.
My coaches are not all head coaches.
Oh,
interesting. I like that.
Oh,
I like that a lot.
I like that.
Oh, I have a feeling I know where he's going with some of this. So
I also have a 2-minute drill for everyone.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, good.
She wrote it on short notice.
This is my first 2-minute drill of the off season, I believe.
As a mother.
Fantastic.
That is so weird.
Are we coming up on Hate Week?
So somebody
Hate Week's
messaged
the end
me
of May.
that.
Right.
One of our biggest
I
fans
remember
who's
Hate
never
Week.
missed an episode. He's like, when's Hate Week?
I'll tell you exactly what day Hate Week is.
It's the week before Memorial Day usually, or around there.
Well, we pushed it back last year, remember?
I don't remember why we pushed it.
There was like a lot of.
I think you had a death in the family.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Remember, you went on a run. You went on a run
I
last year.
had a lot of death last year.
So the Tuesdays, because we do record on Tuesdays, it would be either the 23rd or the 30th.
Yeah.
I believe it has to be the 30th.
After Memorial Day? Well, I'm not going to be filled with hate.
No, the 23rd then.
Yeah.
I can tell you when it.
No, let's go into the holiday weekend with hate. And then we'll release.
Noah's never had a hate week.
Oh, Noah. So Noah doesn't even know the background of Hate Week.
Noah, I'm gonna hurt your feelings, boy.
No.
I'm gonna hurt your feelings.
See what I can tell you in Hate Week was in 2020.
We walk out of here being blocked by Brandon, and we did not have a good Hate Week.
I never have blocked y'all.
Hate Week in 2020 was May the 27th.
Well, there you go. What were you wearing during Hate Week?
That was a crop top, and what I wore.
You were drinking a lot on that episode.
I was drinking a lot. I was taking a lot of shots.
You were with your friends.
Yes, in Dallas.
I remember.
Yeah, because I'd gotten dumped the week before.
No, I remember.
What was that? That was the inaugural Hate Week.
Yes, because I kept drinking throughout the podcast, and at the very end, I think I just unleashed a lot of hate.
So
because I'd gotten really drunk.
I think we do it in the end of May usually.
Yep.
Okay.
This was Hate Week.
No.
Yeah.
That doesn't look like you at all.
That's Hate Week.
I mean, that ain't me.
That ain't you at all.
That's 3 years ago.
Good Lord. Okay, y'all ready?
I mean, this is the mood that I was in. That.
Throw your insults at me.
Throw your insults at me. I want to feel something today. Okay.
Going through some shit.
We got 5x5x5.
Yes.
5 players, 5 coaches, 5 teams.
Is that KCC or something?
CCK, yeah.
CCK, so.
Yeah.
Now, a little bit of news before we get to that. And at the end, Noah, do you have the system and the program ready?
Bro? No, he told me when I came in, because I was the first one to come in. He said, "Just so you know, I have the new coding ready."
You have the coding in the database ready.
And you added Kayce. Did you add Kayce to the database?
I did.
So we're gonna tear helmets at the end.
He told me.
Promise.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
He added me to the list.
A little bit of news before we get there. Last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, it was time to, I don't know about laugh at Michigan State, but to say, hey, Michigan State, what's going on? Your starting quarterback has entered.
Had a few transfers.
And it had a few transfers, right? Well, that starting quarterback has now landed at Auburn. Payton Thorne,
which was the big rumor,
to Auburn, and we knew coming out of spring, Hugh Freeze wasn't going to sit still, right? We knew he was going to have to do something, and he has added a lot. I think they have, as of right now, on 24/7, the number 4 ranked transfer portal class. But he brings in Payton Thorne to be his starting quarterback. Historically, Hugh Freeze gets a lot out of the quarterback position.
Yes.
He's a very good quarterback coach. At Ole Miss, he did so with, I think, Bo Wallace, who wasn't that nationally talented, but he did well under Hugh Freeze. Chad Kelly had a remarkable year under Hugh Freeze. And then at Liberty, Malik Willis got drafted based on Hugh Freeze, coaching him. And so now he'll have Payton Thorne. I do think I expected a bigger splash transfer to Auburn this year. Like if I look at the entire landscape of the transfer portal and not just the last 2 weeks and who was available. Sam Hartman at one point was available. He went to Notre Dame. Devin Leary was available.
He went to Kentucky.
There's been other transfers available. Yes. And Auburn, Hugh Freeze got Payton Thorne. If you look at it from that perspective, it's not all that impressive. It doesn't.
You could spin it though. If I was a Michigan or Auburn fan,
and
I would spin.
Yeah,
I would. They are spinning it.
Yeah,
but you have to spin it.
Yeah, you have to spin it. Of course, you spin it.
But if you spin it in a positive way, you would say, "Hey, last year you had a tough year.
Yeah,
the whole team did. The year before, he won a Peach Bowl, won 11-2, and was one of the best quarterbacks in the Big Ten. And if you get him under Hugh Freeze, it could work. Or you could spin it in a way and say, "Hey, this is the final push that Robbie Ashford needs to get into a proper mindset into becoming a starting quarterback."
No chance.
No,
Robbie,
really?
To me, Robbie Ashford is
I ain't giving up on Robbie Ashford.
He tweeted out too. He's like, "Iron toughens iron. Let's go to work."
Oh, he can say whatever he wants. I don't think you go out after the spring game, get somebody else's starting quarterback just to bring him in to compete.
Did you see that C.J. Stroud was insulted personally when they brought in Quinn Ewers?
I saw that.
I thought there's nothing wrong with that. Like, it's almost, you understand there's recruiting, but disrespect, like, it's almost, it adds fuel to the fire.
But I think that's a little silly because C.J. Stroud was a high 4-star, maybe even a 5-star, and he went to Ohio State. But then after you sign him, they got to recruit the next class. They're going to try to get a quarterback every year.
And that kid was
committed. That's not insulting.
That mindset is what people say when an NFL team like drafts a young quarterback or brings in somebody. Yeah, like when he said that, it was like, you do realize they have to bring somebody in because you will eventually leave.
Yeah. No, I understand why people were a little bit like, "Oh, CJ, you don't know about recruiting." But I also understand why he felt that way. But also, I would have told CJ Stroud, "Hey, this is the #1 recruit ever. But he's coming here. He was supposed to be a high school senior this year. If you can't beat him out, then you weren't like."
And then he did beat him out.
He did, and he
right. And then if you can't beat out a guy that's like 17 years old, then what are you gonna do?
Now, Payton, if I look at the SEC, I think this is probably the weakest. From a quarterback perspective, the conference has looked on paper going into a season than it has in the last 10, 15, 20 years. Georgia, is it Carson Beck? Is it Vandergriff? They're starting over. We'll see. Carson Beck, by the way, is like 8th on the Barstool Sportsbook to win the Heisman Trophy. So somebody believes he's going to win.
No, Carson's going to be the starter, I think.
So and then Alabama, we don't know who's going to be captaining that ship. Could be Tyler Buchner from Notre Dame. Payton Thorne at Auburn. There's not a whole lot in the SEC that's inspired me with a lot of confidence at quarterback position. Jaden Daniels at LSU looks pretty good. KJ Jefferson is back with a new offensive coordinator.
Did you see the quote from the freshman wide receiver about Graham Mertz?
What did he say?
He's the next Joe Burrow.
Mm-hmm. I saw
that.
Everyone's the next someone.
Yeah, well,
that is true.
Mertz, though. Mertz for Heisman.
Your comp pro can't be like an all-star.
Oh, not even all-star. Possibly the greatest college football player ever.
Also, I don't know. I don't know how Joe Burrow you can be if after your spring game, the coach, the first thing he does on the microphone is say, "Hey guys, don't blame me. We're going to go get another quarterback." So if he's Joe Burrow, then Billy Napier is just either blind, dumb, or stupid. And Joe, two of those are the same thing.
And Joe took control of that LSU team very early, at least from like when people talk about it.
Yeah.
Before his first year, even people said he came in, won the quarterback competition over what's his name? Who's the guy who was going to be the quarterback every year? He started the first game against.
Yeah, who was that? It was from Mississippi.
Garrett Nussmeier?
No, he's from Mississippi. He was from the coast.
He was there for like 15 years.
Yeah. He's from the coast, white guy. He went to St. Stanislaus. I know everything about him.
He retired. He retired from football.
Yes.
And people were like, is he really going to retire?
He had a good game against you
Who
guys.
Who the fuck? What is it? Do you want me to look it up?
Yes. I just told you everything about him.
Number 15.
Max Johnson.
No.
Miles Brennan.
Miles Brennan. Miles Brennan was going to be their starter every single year.
He was supposed to be before, and then Burrow came. Burrow beat him out. And then KJ Jefferson beat him out at one point.
No. What was his freshman year?
Not KJ.
Sorry. What's his name? Who was at Auburn last year?
TJ Finley.
Both wore number
2017?
Oh, see, I felt like it was earlier than 2017.
What's that?
Miles Brennan.
Miles Brennan's freshman year. I thought it was like 2015.
Oh, he was supposed to be their guy for like 4 or 5 years in a row.
TJ Finley, he's been in college football forever.
Well, he's just not very
He just transferred again.
I know.
But yeah, the SEC, I don't look at that conference and get inspired with a lot of confidence with quarterbacks. Like the Pac-12 is loaded at quarterback. The ACC is pretty good. The SEC, if I were just ranking quarterbacks, would be like 3rd, 4th, maybe.
Big 12 has some good quarterbacks.
Yeah, so we'll see. But now, second piece of news. I don't know how I'm going to frame this.
Uh-oh.
Pat Forty is a sports writer.
Who hates UConn?
Oh, that's fine. Is he just a meat writer now? Is he just a dick writer?
I don't know what happened. I don't know if Jim Harbaugh paid him, if he's on the Michigan payroll.
So Pat Forty, if you didn't see it, he wrote a story yesterday extolling the virtues of Jim Harbaugh because Jim Harbaugh cuts his own grass. And he called him probably the richest man in America, or one of the richest men in America who still mow their own lawn. And that's got to be untrue. There's got to be people richer than Jim Harbaugh that mow their lawn.
I think that I would put him up there on the because I feel like landscaping.
You understand how awesome mowing your yard is?
Okay, well this is where I don't, because that's one thing. And my dad, I mean, he loves mowing the lawn. Loves it. I think I tried to mow the lawn one time and it was horrible. Rich people, I know it's
Let me tell you something.
Rich people, what percent of the 1% has a yard to mow? Don't live in New York City. Don't live.
No, I think a lot of them.
Yeah, like their Hamptons house.
The 1% of the 1% has
land,
vacations
they
house.
have a second house.
Okay, but listen.
And I'm guaranteeing you, they're not mowing their own lawn.
No.
Let me take you into the mind of a human adult man. The man who has children and a wife. The man who has means. The man who has succeeded and has a yard and a house. When he goes into that house, why are you watching TV? What are you doing? Take the trash out. Why are you staying around here all day? What are you doing? Blah, 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 blah. When he gets on that lawnmower and he turns that key,
I see.
That's what nobody can talk to him. No. Nobody can hassle him.
Honestly,
nobody can bother him. Nobody can get to that man when he's on that lawnmower.
I do not hate that whatsoever.
And those are 2 hours, 3 hours that it is your time.
You know, before, I don't remember it. You will remember it because you're older than me. On airplanes, before they had Wi-Fi and no one could ever get a hold of you, my dad said that was like his favorite thing in the world. It's like when he's on an airplane, no one can talk to him.
Just chilling. Yeah.
It's just, literally the world can't reach you. I assume that's a little bit the same way with the lawnmower.
He wrote a story talking about he mows his yard and how that makes him so common. Like, okay, first of all, Forrest Gump has way more money than Jim Harbaugh, and he cut that yard for free.
I'll be honest. There's probably a man right now listening to this podcast says he mows his lawn who's richer than Jim Harbaugh.
The smell of mowed grass is so good.
Yeah.
But I do agree that most men like Jim Harbaugh who have that much money and are also as busy as they are, because college football coaches are very busy, mowing the lawn is probably something they could outsource pretty easily.
Yes.
Fair enough. But I got a question as pertains to this country and the South and the North. Where does it stop being your yard and start being your lawn? because I'm from the South. I'm fronting whenever I say mow the lawn. I've never said mow the lawn in my life. I don't call it a lawn. It's my yard. I have a yard. I don't have a lawn.
I grew up saying yard.
Yeah.
I feel like lawn is.
Do you have a lawn?
Yeah, I mowed the lawn as a kid.
Okay, well I cut the grass, or I mowed the yard.
That was like one of my things I had to do at home. Like it was when it was time to mow the lawn.
Yeah.
Jack, go get out.
I think the yard is between the road and your house. At least what I envision. Lawn is kind of like back property.
Really?
His backyard.
I think it's front lawn.
I think it's flipped. I think of the front as lawn.
Front lawn,
the
backyard.
back is yard.
That's fair.
Front lawn, backyard.
Everyone calls it one way or the other.
I have an itch.
What's
what
going on?
I had an itch.
I thought he was about to get mad at something.
Noah, you have a lawn or a yard?
I always said lawn.
Lawn.
Yeah, he's from
Front lawn.
Yeah, front lawn, backyard. Hey, he
so
just cracked it.
I
Front lawn.
I said that.
Oh my bad.
I said it like 4 times.
I had a front yard, backyard. Everything was yard to me.
Oh no, see, I think it's front lawn, backyard.
No one says back lawn.
Also, lawn. It feels
I've
like
never
unless
heard
you're like in the Hamptons and you're just doing.
No, I'm in the Hamptons. You never say back lawn.
Fair.
Side lawn.
no.
That's just like side yard.
Yeah.
And I feel like lawn is more like there's like bars called the lawn.
I think it's not.
Yeah.
I don't think
You
it's
know?
like that. I think it's.
But there's also
I think it's
bars
regional.
called
I
the
think
yards.
down south we say yard instead of lawn.
Pop versus soda.
always soda.
And down south, this is how you cut the yard. You just light it on fire.
No, you can. You can. My neighbor did that, but
Have you seen the guy on TikTok that goes to random places throughout the country that have not mowed their lawn?
Yeah, I've seen.
And he goes up, and the people like usually are very nice.
It's kind of awkward.
Well, yeah, because he's going up to we all had people on our blocks. Maybe not you, because you were but like in the suburbs where I grew up, house. There's always a guy on the street that didn't cut his lawn.
Yeah.
And you just heard stories. He's the old guy in the house that doesn't go out. He's haunted.
If this guy from TikTok shows up at and knocks on your door, what he's telling you is your place looks like shit.
Yes, he is.
But some of these people are like older. Maybe they don't have the help.
He does it nicely. I've seen it. He's like, "Hey, I make these kind of videos. Like, I just noticed."
You are right. It is awkward.
Yeah.
I feel like there's been a few times that I keep bringing my dad up, but he's the one. And I just realized he liked to say "cut the grass."
Yeah, I say cut the
grass. I say
Cut the
that
grass.
too.
He would mow people's lawns in our like direct vicinity of our neighborhood if it got too long sometimes, which is kind of it's a nice thing to do, but also kind of like a subtle fuck you.
That was an issue, I think, at one point in my neighborhood. There was someone that didn't want anybody to do their lawn, and then somebody did it, and it was a massive
We have a guy in my neighborhood down. You've been in my neighborhood. When somebody somebody has a death in the family, he'll just show up and mow your yard. He'll cut your grass.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Only at the death in the family, so he gets the call. Oh fuck, I gotta go to.
No, I don't think he does it like that. I think he'll just show up at your neighbor's house. You're going through it, and he'll just cut your yard for you.
That is nice.
Yeah.
I'll never forget when Katie and I rolled up to Uncle Donnie's house and
Donnie Walker, my uncle, is the yard cuttingest motherfucker in the world. He'll cut his twice, 3 times a week.
because he wants to get out of the house.
He's never not cutting his grass.
Yeah, no, I do feel what you're saying about getting away, because I feel like that is something that, and you're doing a chore, so your wife can't be on your ass about it. I just don't think that Jim Harbaugh would fall into that category to me.
I think he does, because
I think he's more simple.
But that's why. So you said Pat Forty also said he's like one of the most common men.
Yeah.
Of college football coaches, Jim Harbaugh seems like he would be one of the most common.
I think he
wears.
I feel like he goes the other way.
Oh, and he drinks milk.
I mean, he was. I see what you're saying.
He mows his lawn.
He's not a very common man. He was. I mean, look at photos of him from the past. He's like Tom Cruise looking.
All right, exercise.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
I'm going to say a coach. Y'all tell me if he mows his own lawn.
Okay.
Cuts his own grass.
Okay.
Cuts his own yard.
Okay.
Mows his own yard.
Okay.
Nick Saban.
No.
Josh Heupel.
No.
Dabo Sweeney.
No.
No.
Possibly.
He probably lies about it.
That's exactly right.
Good
He
answer,
definitely
Dave.
lies about his yard.
Yeah.
He says he does, but he doesn't.
Yeah, he's the
Good
type
one.
of guy
I
to be
like
like,
that.
you know what the issue is? Kids ain't cutting their own lawn these days.
And he's got a crew out there cutting his grass.
Yeah.
All right.
We gotta get.
Mac
I was gonna make a
Brown.
bad joke.
No,
No.
he's probably too old. Sorry.
But I bet in his younger years he did.
yes, Texas. In Texas, he did.
I don't know. He probably had so many
Brett
acres.
Bielema.
Maybe.
Only if it's not a push mower. He would do the sit on it with a beer and drive.
I assume all of these are sit on it because I assume all these guys have big yards.
I think Jim Harbaugh pushes. He gives
no chance. He definitely gets on a zero turn and he's chilling.
Probably.
There's a video game where like people stream themselves cutting yards.
Lincoln Riley.
No.
Definitely not. Yeah.
Definitely not now in USC.
Definitely not.
Yeah, does anybody know they cut their own lawn?
Yeah.
No.
I'm trying to think of somebody who would.
I'll tell you one. You're not going to like this.
No, don't
Jimbo?
say it. He can't even fuck.
No.
Sam Pittman can't even fucking
I was
fit
going
on
to say
one.
Sam Pittman.
Sam Pittman
definitely mows his own
I can see
lawn.
the fat in your eyes right there.
Sam Pittman cuts his own grass.
No chance. The lawnmower's got to have some help here. Jesus.
I could see Ryan.
No chance. Ryan Day is not authentic enough to cut his own grass. Ryan Day's not even authentic enough to show us his real hair color.
You think Braum does?
There's nothing wrong with dyeing your hair.
Well,
Ryan
Day's he's got to let go.
Coach K
definitely
does.
It's time for some gray in Ryan Day.
Coach K mows his own yard?
No, he dyes his hair.
Oh, well, yeah.
That's true.
I think that the most likely candidate to do his own lawn work is Sam Pittman.
No, it's Harbaugh.
Well, we know he does, but if you were going to do a lineup, you put all the head coaches of every single school and said, who do you think cuts their own grass? Sam Pittman is my number one draft pick. And you know it.
Sam Pittman?
No.
Yes.
I think he is so happy that he got to the head coaching job and he is living off his money now. I think he's graduated to the point.
He gets on that lawnmower and he cracks open a cold one.
Kyle Whittingham cuts his own grass.
That's a good one too.
Yeah. He cuts his own grass. Mike Leach cut his own grass before he died.
Also, he would be a good option, yes.
Or second, shout out to him. He would be delighted if we were talking about him. Mike Leach just never cut his grass, and he had high-ass grass. Yeah, that's possible too. Yeah. Like he's just, what am I going to cut it for? It's just going to grow back next week. It's grass.
It's grass.
Like, I can see him having.
Yeah.
Why do we cut grass? We don't cut trees.
And he'd be like, I get it on a baseball field because the ball gets hit, but
what am I doing? We're not playing baseball.
Or golf. Yeah.
Mike Leach definitely had an opinion about yard cutting.
He probably at some point has spoken about this very topic.
Right.
In some press conference he didn't feel like being at.
Wherever he's at right now, he's like, he's right. I don't understand it.
Is cutting your lawn very American?
Yeah.
I think so.
I think it's just a very manly thing.
Like, can I buy?
Oh, see, I watch a lot of football, soccer. Like I look at those guys. They ain't cutting lawn.
No. But it just goes along. Brandon's right. You get to escape the spouse, escape the kids. If it's nice outside, you can have a drink. I mean, you can have a drink anyways.
You can have a dip.
Oh, have a dip.
Whatever you need to do. Yeah.
Have a chew. You have a chew?
Yeah, have a dip, have a chew. Same thing.
Does Dion mow his own lawn?
No.
No, I don't think
I've been down to that ranch. There's no way.
Deion Sanders started playing professional football when he was 21, 22.
He may not know how to.
I say this out of respect to him because he's had a great life and he has earned. I don't know if he's ever cut a lawn. I assume he did before he got famous.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't think so.
I've been to Prime Country a lot because if we all remember,
that's a lot of yard out there.
For some reason the entire company flew to his ranch in 2020 for the Pro Football Show instead of bringing him to New York. Beside the point, it was great. It was a lot of fun. There's no chance that man mowed even like a fraction of how big that ranch is. Should we get to the 555?
Well, one more, and this is really a story that needs to flesh out, but. As you see this NIL stuff and as sports gambling becomes more ever-present, I guess, Iowa's going through some things right now. The state of Iowa is investigating a bunch of athletes for, some gambling issues.
I heard the FBI's there.
We really don't know anything about it yet, but it's something to monitor, and that's not really a news item so much as just be on the lookout.
It does seem, though, that it's not players throwing games. It's more. It seems
just betting on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, Brian Ferentz, bye.
That would be good reason.
You getting rid of the offensive coordinator?
Yeah. Point shaving. That would make everything make sense. But I don't think that's what it is.
I don't think Iowa would know how to
so
point
bad.
shave. What are they shaving there?
I don't feel like
Exactly.
like
That'd be like my
Kirk
7-year-old shaving his face to get rid of the hair. Like, he doesn't have any.
Yeah, how do you?
Iowa
even
doesn't have
point-
points.
And I think she is right though. I think that it would be Brian over Kirk. I feel like Kirk's like too old to do that. Like
No, if there's a point shaving incident within the entire athletic department, which it seems like they're investigating, it's a massive, massive, massive story. The biggest, one of the biggest stories college sports ever seen.
Yeah.
But that's if it's actually a big time thing.
right.
Yeah.
If it's just the kids getting
A sportsbook account?
sportsbook account, that won't matter much. Like if they sign up for the
No.
Barstool Sportsbook, they'll be like, those
No.
kids will be kicked off campus.
Yeah.
But if there's point shaving, but here's the thing, like I don't know for sure, but I mean, there's been point shaving going on throughout college sports forever.
Yeah, City College of New York.
Yeah, like I
Like
mean
the 40s or 50s.
yes.
Yeah.
And then even now, like I mean, when we like 10 years ago, 5 years ago, there's games we watch where without a doubt, I believe there may be a situation where someone's shaving.
You know, Mississippi State went to the Final Four in 1996, and it had long been a rumor in Mississippi State fan circles that we had a player that was shaving points because he played so bad. And but that's just one thing you do, right? Like he sucked and we lost. They must be shaving points. Years and years that rumor was there. I met a guy recently that played in that Final Four. I said, "Hey man, I was a big fan of you, and my team was in that Final Four too." He said, "Well, really? Who's your team?" Mississippi State. Yeah, they had the guy that was shaving points, right? I was like, "Oh fuck, okay." So it's not new.
No, I think I think it's very prevalent.
Yeah.
Guys with too much to lose don't do it, but like, I mean, I don't know. You never know. Like kids make bad decisions, and they get thrown $100,000 in their face. Because think about it. There's how many college basketball games? Football's impossible to point shave unless you're a quarterback.
Yeah.
But basketball,
Well, I mean, if you're a defensive player, you can fall down and miss a tackle.
you could, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like it on record that anytime for the rest of time my team has a bad game, it's because they were point shaving.
Yeah. You guys shaving the hell out of points last year.
Yeah. Adam Sandler was in prison in The Longest Yard because he was shaving points.
Is that? I never.
Yep.
I think I tried to watch that one and got about 5 minutes in.
I
What?
liked it.
That movie was terrible.
Well,
At least the 5 minutes
you're
I saw.
wrong. You are wrong.
I don't think it's like an all-time
Burt Reynolds
great.
was it Burt Reynolds?
He was in the first one.
The first one, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen that one?
I think I saw it a long time ago.
It's a good rite of passage movie.
Mm.
I wouldn't say it's good, like a good
you should watch
Oscar
it.
type movie. But
I
it's
don't want to
fun.
watch.
I think you should.
I don't want to.
Nelly is the running back,
I understand.
and they
Stone
have
Cold's in it.
this.
Goldberg's in it too, isn't he?
Yeah.
They have his song called "Boom Here Comes the," and it's just like it makes you want
It's
to run
Here
through.
Comes the Boom.
Here
No,
comes
that's
no.
no. Here Comes the Boom was POD.
It's Here Comes the. Here comes
He goes
the.
boom.
yeah.
Here
Yeah,
comes
but
the
Nelly
boom.
redid it.
That's not. But that's.
We can't play it because of YouTube,
Yeah.
but it's
Anyways, it makes you want to run through a wall.
I don't want to. I don't really want to like. Hey.
Yeah.
Right.
Boom. Here it comes. Oh, but there's boom at the beginning too. It's bookmark or it's a book.
Here
whatever.
Comes the Kids from the South. Boom.
Okay.
I don't. Okay.
So-
Anyways, great movie.
I gotta be honest. It's May and we're not really in our groove right now. We're all just a little bit off.
Well,
We're all missing a little bit.
We get sidetracked easily. It's nothing
Yeah.
new.
we do
All right. Before we go any further, can I tell y'all what I like?
sports,
And
gambling,
put those together.
sports gambling responsibly.
Yes, I enjoy betting on college football. I do it better than anybody in this company.
Responsibly.
Well, we didn't do stacking cash last year. You were better than me last year, but we didn't put it on record.
That's fair.
2 years ago, I smoked the
He's
whole
very
field.
good with MMA.
He is good.
You
He's
guys
he's
should
a
bring
good
back
gambler.
stacking cash for this season.
We'll see. We're so far away.
Yeah.
Hey.
Anyway,
What
when
did
you're
you do
gambling,
that?
though, the Barstool Sportsbook, the number one place to do it. The number one sports betting app in this country. The Barstool Sportsbook. Bet with the guys you know, all right? We're your buddies. We're your pals. We responsibly get in the mud with you, okay?
In the hole.
Right now, we come in your hole on the Barstool Sportsbook app.
Responsibly.
That is the truth.
Yes, I
Yeah.
come in your hole all the time.
Well, we come in each other's hole.
Yes.
Yeah, so we'll keep this to this side of the room right now.
Yes, 100%.
So,
It
anyway.
hits different when you're not talking to Dan. You got Kayce and Katie.
Yeah.
Anyway, right now, $1,000 bonus on the Barstool Sportsbook. I need you to sign up. You get a $1,000 bonus. Your first bet, you get a $1,000 bonus, right?
Yeah, and guess what code you use?
Rough.
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 And if your first bet loses,
get up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Go ahead, sign up right now with code ROUGH, and you will get that $1,000 bonus. Tell them.
Terms apply, though. They do. And you must be 21 and up. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
555.
Yes. 555. How are we doing this?
5 for 5 for 5. I don't know. You want to do players first?
But, like, are we rattling them off?
Are we drafting?
Oh,
No, I don't
we're
wanna
not
draft.
drafting.
We're listing.
This is Jack's exercise, so
I
let
only
him.
brought 5.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
You tell me that I brought 7 because I don't
cool.
want to repeat some of you.
Okay.
Some of you.
All right, my first team. We'll go start with teams.
Yeah.
I said players, but you
All
just
right,
didn't
we'll
listen
do
at all.
players.
No, let's do teams.
All right, teams.
Coaches.
Okay.
Oh
We'll
my
start with
God.
players?
Yep.
Okay.
Katie's
What are we
gonna have
starting with?
aneurysm.
Players.
Coaches.
teams,
Players.
coaches.
Let's do players.
My first one is Quinn Ewers. We were talking about him earlier today on this podcast. CJ Stroud felt disrespected in that clip.
Mm-hmm.
He said Ohio State brought in the highest rated recruit ever. And that is what Quinn Ewers was. He was one of the highest rated recruits in the history of recruiting.
He was
And that's
the highest rated quarterback ever.
Yeah, the 2 decades of recruiting. That's a long time. Think about all the guys that have come through. He was higher rated than Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
And he was massively well respected coming out of high school. Quinn comes into this year with a lot of questions. Can he take that next step? It looked like he was really playing well against Alabama. He hurt his shoulder. Then the rest of the season wasn't awful. He didn't get a lot of help from his wide receivers. His offensive line wasn't that great last year. He still was okay. He had a really bad game in the second half, specifically against Oklahoma State.
Sure.
But this is the year. You're going to have a lot of marquee games. And obviously, you have one of the biggest marquee games early in the season against Alabama. Mm-hmm. And it's time for you to show up and show up in a big leeway.
All right. Quinn Ewers, Texas quarterback. Who's your first player?
Also Quinn Ewers. So to add on to everything that Jack said as well, when we looked at the mock draft last week, he was high up on a lot of lists. So I would say, and I know Arch Manning is clearly like the name is what's standing out, but there's so much attention on, is Arch Manning going to be Payton? Is he going to be this next guy? And Quinn Ewers has had so much hype that it's weird to me. Like if I was Quinn Ewers, I'd be like, I'm the highest rated recruit ever. I'm high up on a lot of mock drafts, but then there's a Manning behind me. Mm-hmm. So a lot to prove there. And Texas as a whole is like a bigger storyline, and obviously as a quarterback. I'm
just going to go ahead and spoiler alert. I mean, I think Texas is going to be said a lot in this show.
Yes, and Quinn Ewers is just, I mean, being the quarterback obviously is going to put him in one of the most important spots, but he's been that way since he was in high school. So add him to Steve Sarkisian in Texas, and you've got dynamite.
Katie, did you make a list?
Yeah, I also have him. I didn't put mine in order, but I think
neither.
just with the Arch Manning, the first 3 interceptions he throws, like just from a fan standpoint, you know that everyone's waiting for Arch. Arch is the name. If he does anything remotely below average, people are going to be screaming for him to be benched.
Especially, like you said, because his last name is Manning.
I don't know if I agree with it from that standpoint, because I think Arch has a tremendous opportunity to redshirt this year, play about 4 games, and then it's his ship after that. I do think Quinn Ewers has to prove he's worthy of keeping Arch to just a red shirt.
Yes.
And I do think he has to prove that, okay, well, if you're going with me, this is why you're going with me. And by the way, we haven't won 10 games in a long fucking time. I'm the guy to do that.
But I mean, I think those are the same things, because if you redshirt Arch, which they should, and Quinn has a couple bad games, and I'm talking about like not just mediocre, like they're winning, but he's not, his stat line doesn't stand out. If he has some bad games or they lose, like say they get blown out versus Alabama, which I don't think is going to happen, but if they do, that fan base is going to, and not just the fan base, just everybody in the country is going to be like, well, Arch Manning is sitting right there.
Well,
he's a Manning,
think Arch is going to be the 3rd string quarterback. I think Malik Murphy will be the 2nd string.
Yeah.
And then also good news for Quinn and good news for Texas. They lose Bijan, but I think they have some really good weapons. Mm-hmm. This is the 2nd year for Billingsley. the tight end from Alabama, right? That was, and then obviously Xavier Worthy. They brought in that Wyoming great wide receiver last year, but he tore his ACL, I think, in spring ball or even maybe August practice. Naylor, I think his last name is, or maybe I'm mixing up with the baseball player. I think this is a really. Urban Meyer said today that they're the most talented team on paper.
Well, I don't care.
They'll be top 5, top 8, but I don't know if they're more talented than Alabama. Or
Isaiah Nayor.
So I'm I'm Neyor. Yeah, I'm gonna get off the Texas wagon here and allow myself to pick somebody else. By the way, those Air Maxes right there are not that expensive. They're like $60, and I have the men's pair. They're terrific.
They're so comfortable.
I love them so much.
They're so comfortable.
And I got mine for $48. I bought all these expensive shoes, and those are the best shoes. Anyway, Tyler Van Dyke, University of Miami. He was given the keys to the kingdom last year. He was expected to be one of the better quarterbacks in the country. I think I had him top 5 to start the year, and this isn't just redemption for me because a lot of people had him at least top 10. A lot of people had him being very good.
Oh, yeah.
And like Texas, Miami will be, I'm going to say Miami a couple times in this list, but Tyler Van Dyke and Josh Gaddis never got together. The offensive coordinator position, Miami believes they botched that hire tremendously, and that's what changed everything. We'll see about that. But to do that, to make that true, Tyler Van Dyke has to step up and be the guy we saw that he was 2 years ago. And if he had never lived up to the hype, I could understand. You just throw him away and say, okay, well, he's not that guy. But he was that guy 2 years ago. And if he was that 2 years ago and then last year was bad, go out and prove it to me this year. Go out and take Miami by the balls, put them on your back, and go out and be something, be somebody, and prove that you are one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Tyler Van Dyke is my number one, and he's got to prove it.
Connecticut, stand up.
I didn't put mine in order, but he was one of those that I thought about putting on the list, but then I did the petty thing that I feel like we all do sometimes.
Yeah.
We were so high on him last year, and I talked about him just ad nauseum, and I know you did too. And I think when we drafted players last offseason, like he was like my most anticipated player, and he was so bad that I couldn't even put him on the list.
Yeah, but that's that.
I couldn't even do it.
He's going to be their guy, and he's got to prove it.
I know.
I'm going to give number 2, number 3.
Okay.
What?
He's going to give 2 players.
If we go one by one on every guy,
it'll
take a while.
Yeah, well, or why don't you just give the rest? Why don't you just give the rest of your list?
Okay, I like that.
Just give the rest of your list, and if we have overlap, we have.
Do you
overlap.
not like that?
No, go ahead.
If we do 15.
Hey.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right.
He's just going to take all the guys.
Oh, that's true. That's a good point.
Well, then I'll go.
No, you go with all your list because that's what Kayce
Joe
said.
Milton,
Tennessee quarterback.
It's a big time year. We're hearing a lot of. I mean, he had a great Orange Bowl. We're hearing a lot of hype for him. Tennessee fans think he may even be better than Hendon.
Let me make an executive decision right here. Well, first of all, Tennessee fans, of course, think that because they think anybody that came after Hendon will be better. Whatever. They think everybody's going to be great. Executive decision. You got all quarterbacks?
Yep.
You got all quarterbacks?
Yep.
You got all quarterbacks? Next week we'll do a category of non-quarterbacks with the most approved.
I like that, yeah.
Continue.
All right. Then I have J.J. McCarthy.
Michigan. So this is good because I don't have either of those guys on my list.
There we go. And I don't think you're going to have my 4th one.
Okay.
And then you will have my 5th, but not my 4th one.
All right.
J.J., I think this is his team now.
Yeah.
This is you're one of the best quarterbacks or supposed to be in the country. And now the expectation for Michigan is not, oh, we should make the playoff, beat Ohio State. It's, no, we beat Ohio State here. Yeah. We make the playoff, and now it's time for us to win a national championship. Yeah. And JJ has a chance to do it. At number 4, I have Sam Hartman.
Also, one more about JJ.
I do have Sam Hartman.
One more about JJ.
He will too, I bet.
He was very trash in the playoff game.
Yeah,
2 pick sixes, right?
Yeah, and then after the touchdown that wasn't a touchdown. Yeah, he wasn't great.
All right, continue.
Number 4, Sam Hartman. I'll give you more to talk about him. I think this is a Notre Dame team that has the talent to really go far, but it's a tough schedule. And Sam Hartman left a place at Wake Forest where he could have won 8-4, and people are like, well, Sam Hartman's really good. Yeah. Now it's like you got to show up every week. And number 5, it's Drew Aller. I think this guy has the most hype for a Penn State quarterback I can remember. Maybe, obviously, Christian Hackenberg, but that was right after Joe Pa. Drew Aller is the key to an engine that Penn State fans have always said was not ran correctly with Sean Clifford. But here's the thing. Sean Clifford wasn't that bad. So you have to not only be good, you have to be almost great. Because I would say Sean Clifford was average to good. And if you are great, you may make the playoff and really go down as a great Penn State quarterback. But you got to show up in your freshman, or still freshman year technically, I think. But his second year at Penn State.
All right.
So
Kayce, you want to give
you're
me your
right.
list?
You know, some of these are going to overlap. So if they've overlapped, I won't go too long. I also have Joe Milton on my list. To further what Jack said, he has one of those arms where he can, throw it 3 rows into the stands with no problem, or it can be right on the money. His arm strength is crazy. Tennessee fans do love him. We saw how bad he was at Michigan. A lot of hype there. I also have Drew Aller because Penn State, which I think, again, bigger picture, Penn State didn't have a bad year last year, but because of the division that they play in, it's like, and I talked shit about James Franklin last week too, they just can't get over that hump. Can he get over that hump? And Sean Clifford, Jack, you've always been like I don't want to say a stan of his.
No, I would say I was,
but you've defended him. A lot of Penn State people were so over Sean Clifford. And so Drew Aller has a lot of expectations on him. I have Michael Penix. I think Michael Penix is one of those guys that, we saw what happened when he had all the hype at Indiana. That clearly failed. He had such a great year. Now the second year, Washington has a lot of expectations. Can he repeat what he did last year? And if he does, then he is that guy. If he has another year where it's like the hype machine, it's like, well, why did he have 1 year on, 1 year off? And then I have Cade Klubnik. I think that he has a lot. I mean, Clemson as a whole is an interesting story. But after watching what he looked like in that bowl game, and how much people were excited to see him come in and how awful that he looked, a lot of expectations for him.
Katie, your list?
I have Michael Penix, Quinn Ewers, Sam Hartman, Drew Aller, and then Ty Simpson / whoever starts for Bama.
Could be Buckner, could be anybody. All right, well, you guys were all of like mind.
You were not.
I was not.
Okay.
I have a lot of different guys. In fact, I have Tyler Van Dyke, who I've already said.
Is Will Rogers on there?
Will Rogers is definitely on here. First of all,
I thought about that.
I have I wrote down 7. So canceling out the 2 that I had that you guys have, I have 5 that nobody has said. I had Quinn Ewers and I had Sam Hartman. Sam Hartman, I'll talk about briefly. You go win at Wake Forest. That's a cute story for page 3 of the Sunday Sports section. You go win big at Notre Dame. You're a national name. You're big. It's more important. You've got more at stake now. So now it's time. Are you a guy that can play on the 6:00 game on ESPN or are you ready to play on NBC at 2:30 every Saturday and have the biggest game in the country on your shoulders? Sam Hartman got to go prove it.
Would you say this is a quarterback version of, on a smaller scale, of what's happening with Dion? You've proven at a smaller level, not really in the news. There's enough hype. And now,
I think there's certain comparisons to be made.
Yeah.
But I think going from Wake Forest to Notre Dame is not as severe as going from Jackson State to Colorado.
Correct. I think
so.
Just at Notre Dame, you have the tools. Like, all right, you have a talent. Can it translate at a bigger level when you're set up to succeed?
Yeah. All right. So the 5 I have that you guys don't have, I already said Tyler Van Dyke. Will Rogers for 3 years played in Mike Leach's air raid and put up numbies. In fact, he was on pace to maybe become the all-time leading passer in NCAA history. He has been a quarterback who has put up huge numbers and won some big games. Now, Mike Leach is not here anymore. And he has got Zach Arnett, and he has got Kevin Barbay, the App State offensive coordinator last year. App State wasn't throwing it around the yard 70 times. Will Rogers has to prove he can put up numbers or be a good quarterback without being in the Mike Leach system. He has to prove he can do it. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. I hope for the best, but Will Rogers has been at the top of quarterback numbers leaderboards for 3 years. Does he stay there? Because if he does, good things will happen, but it's going to be tough.
Remember week 2 of App State UNC?
What's that?
Week 2, week 3 of App State UNC with that offense.
63, yeah. Well, if we could play North Carolina every week.
Our defense.
Yeah.
Take Gene Chizik with you.
And then,
App State,
against Texas.
PTSD.
Yeah, App State. Well, y'all beat them, though, right? North Carolina beat them.
Yeah.
63-62 or 64.
That was a hell of a game.
But
63-61, I believe.
Programs are not at the same level. The fact that it's a game
No.
is
bringing up old
embarrassing.
shit.
Yeah. Every time you say something about App State, you're just, they beat them.
The next week, right?
Yeah.
Fair.
Trash.
I was surprised nobody said this name.
Here we go.
DJ Uiagalelei. Now, there's no guarantee he's starting. There's no guarantee he's starting at Oregon State. In fact, I can see a world where he doesn't start. But Clemson fans have painted you as the reason they've fallen off. They've trashed you. They've told you that you're bad. Thank God they got Cade now. Oh, they don't have to run a bland or whatever offense they had to run with you. You've even said some things about the offense they ran at Clemson and what didn't work for you. Mm-hmm. And now, if you're going to say that shit and you're going to Oregon State, it's time to get on the field and show people that you're the 5-star that you came out as.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that. I feel like he's going to live in that bubble, that Oregon State bubble, and people like us will pay attention to it. To me, there's so many people out there now that are going to look at what happens at Clemson, and it's going to kind of be like the OU USC effect, where it's like if Cade's really, really good, then you're like, see, DJ was the problem. If Cade is not good, DJ's still not going to get the credit that he probably deserves.
Again, this is the problem with DJ this year. I'm saying him. There's a world where he's not their starting quarterback. Mm-hmm. That's a possibility, but you say it's the bubble, and I say I disagree for this reason this year. There will be so many big games to be won in the Pac-12. The Pac-12 will have a bunch of guys. You'll be going up against Bo Nix, Caleb Williams, Michael Penix, Cam Rising. You'll be going up against these bigger quarterbacks every week. You'll be going up against these teams. USC will be ranked. UCLA might be ranked. Washington will be ranked. Like, you're going to have big-ass games all year.
Oregon,
but
Utah.
Unless – and I could just be projecting from a Pac-12 standpoint. This is not fair to Oregon State. But unless Oregon State is – actually competing for the Pac-12, I feel like even if they beat one or two of those teams, it's not necessarily going to be like, oh, DJ just didn't fit with Clemson and he's better there. Like, I feel like he quote, and I put this in quotes because he wasn't near as bad as a lot of Clemson fans make him out to be, but he had his moments. That he failed the way he did at Clemson in so many people's minds that what he goes and does at Oregon State, unless he's like a Heisman contender, he's kind of already buried a little bit.
All right, two more.
Which is not fair, but.
Two more, and they're both in the ACC. I'm going to throw a name that we've talked about before coming into seasons, and we thought we had high hopes for him, and then he just did nothing. Phil Jurkovich, Boston College. Remember him?
Wow.
Pittsburgh right now, right?
That's not a name I expected to hear you say
Phil
today.
Jurkovich. And then this one I think would be maybe my number one prove-it guy of the whole thing.
Tell me.
Brennan Armstrong,
Ooh.
NC State. Brennan Armstrong came into last year with Heisman hopes, and he and Virginia's offense were god-awful. I mean, terrible. Not even close to relevant, not even close to productive. It was a disaster. Now he's going to NC State, where he replaces a guy that transferred out, and he's got a chance to resurrect his career. If you go do that, you have proven to me that Virginia is a hot mess and that you're a good-ass quarterback. Because he was incredible 2 years ago, and he was garbage last year. Mm-hmm. So prove it. What are you? Brennan Armstrong.
Yeah, it's a good one.
All right, y'all ready to do coaches?
Yep.
Yes.
I think the same, I'm blanking on his name, is not Finley, who went from NC State to Kentucky.
Devin Leary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another one.
Only issue there is he got hurt.
I think it's more looking from the Kentucky side. It's like you had Will Levis.
Yeah.
Everyone built the hype, whether they believe it or not. You're coming in. So now it's like, was it a Will Levis problem? Was it a you problem?
I'm going to give you a spoiler alert when we start doing our previews for real. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be very high on Kentucky because I think they're actually going to have a quarterback this year.
Devin Leary's good.
Boy,
and I don't like
get in the mix with those fans.
They just had such an awful offensive line last year.
I think that's an excuse for Will Levis. That offensive line paved the way for a guy that ran for like 1,400 yards.
There's no correlation between. You could have a good offensive line that run blocks. Pass blocking is a completely different thing.
I think there were quarterbacks in this country that had worse offensive lines than Will Levis that didn't perform to the level.
Did you see the offensive line against Iowa in that bowl game?
By the end, it was I'll say this for Will Levis, whenever they took the field and he didn't play, they might have been the worst team in the country. Mm-hmm. They were atrocious without him. So I guess I'll say that for him.
We'll see.
All right, since I went last on the quarterback list, can I go first on the coaches list?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't really asking. I was going to do it anyway.
I figured, so we weren't going to fight you.
All right. I feel like I wrote down so many, so I'm going to pick out 5. Number 1, and if I were ranking them, this guy is number 1.
Number one.
Not even close. It's not even close. It's Brent Venables. It's Brent Venables. You had the safety net of being Clemson's defensive coordinator for forever, and you were given the honor of being, when that guy becomes head coach, well, guess what? He became head coach and fucking sucked last year. I don't
care what Gerald McCoy says.
And they can be on the Oklahoma podcast, and they can whine, and they can cry, and they can say, well, Oklahoma fans can feel like this. No, you're lying through your teeth, okay? That's what you're doing. Brent Venables came in. You guys thought you'd win 10 or 11 games, and then you won 6. Now, you can say, fans can change expectations. Fine. But if a coach comes in and you expect him to win 10 and he wins 6, good and damn well, you wonder if you hired the right coach. So, this year 2, forget about what happened in year 1. It's prove it time. Brent Venables, can you coach? Are you worth your salt? Can you live up to the expectations of an Oklahoma program that should be 10 win, 11 win every single year? Prove it, Brent Venables. I don't think you're that guy. I think they hired the wrong coach, but go prove it.
And not only go prove it on the field, but how many times did we hear OU fans say he's the guy that needs to come in to change the culture that Lincoln Riley couldn't get right? He needs to come in, change that locker room, and whether you thought they were going to win 10 games or whatever, no one expected them to get their absolute shit kicked in the way they did against Texas. That is absolutely unforgivable if you are the OU head coach, especially with the expectations. He's obviously, I'm sure, on everybody's list. He has to be there, and it goes back again to everybody's looking out west to see what happens with Lincoln Riley, and then they're looking right at Norman and saying, okay, well, if we really thought this was the guy that was going to right all the wrongs that Lincoln did, you got to do it in year 2.
I love the idea. Yeah, this guy's going to come in and change our culture. All of a sudden, he wins 6 games. Maybe your culture was okay. Maybe your culture wasn't that bad. I'll run through my list real quick. It's time for James Franklin at Penn State. If you're comfortable being the third wheel in the division forever, whatever. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think you are if you're a Penn State fan. It's time. You got to beat either Michigan or Ohio State. You don't have to beat both of them, but you need to beat one of them, and you need to matter. You need to put your name in the hat for it. Can't be. I shouldn't be able to enter the Big Ten season every single season knowing that Michigan or Ohio State's going to win it. Penn State should be a choice. Franklin, prove that you can make them a choice. Mario Cristobal, Miami. I thought you'd be good in year 1. I was wrong. If Miami's as bad in year 2, it's going to be a real issue. I think he's a good coach. I think they're going to be better, but it's time for Mario Cristobal to prove it at Miami. Steve Sarkisian, Texas. How long do you get before you start showing me tangible reasons to believe you can win a national championship in Texas? Because this isn't about winning 9 games or 10 games when you're at Texas. You got to put them in national title contention. There's 10, 12 teams, programs in this country that expects to be in national title contention every year. Is Texas realistic when they want that? Probably not, but they still expect that. That was 4, right?
Texas gets, let's say they beat Alabama, and they go into November undefeated.
Yeah.
Are they the most hyped team? Like the media behind them at that point, is that the most hyped team that is possible to come out of this season? Because if Georgia goes into
they could be this year's Tennessee.
Yeah, that everyone's talking about.
Yeah, so
because I was listening to Josh Pate.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, it's just a little talk show in Nashville.
Yeah.
And
how dare you?
And he was saying, if you were born in like before the 90s or after the 90s or in 2000s, if you're younger, you don't know the Texas hype machine.
Correct.
Because we haven't seen it.
Yeah. Well, and it's a lot like Tennessee last year. If you've been born in 2004, you didn't know Tennessee was like that. You didn't know they had that in them.
Imagine not being born for the Vince Young hype train.
But to your point,
it's crazy.
If you went further, you said if they beat Alabama and go undefeated in November, cut that in half. If they beat Alabama, it's hype all day. First of all, they'll be top 5 after they beat Alabama.
Do you think that the conversation is going to be more pro-Tennessee, or cause I think it's going to turn to be Saban's lost it? It's going to be a bigger.
No, I think it'll be pro-Texas. The media is dying for Texas to win a big game. Dying for it. Now I had one more, and I'm just going to pick who because I got 4 written down. I'm going to say.
Also, let's add Alabama too.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
Forget.
I'm going to say Kirk Ferentz, Iowa. I think
Brian.
I think you've lost it. Yeah, because Kirk's responsible for the whole thing, and he's the one that won't fire Brian. I think you've lost it. I think it's over. I think Iowa would be doing a good service to its to its fans, its program, to replace you with somebody younger who can have a modern offense. Kirk Ferentz, it's time to prove that you deserve to keep being Iowa's coach, because I don't think you do. There you go. Who wants to go next?
If Luke Fickell comes in, completely turns around, it doesn't seem like it's going to be the old school Wisconsin. It's a new scheme, new everything. If we see that in success in year one.
I just don't know how Iowa would sit there and be able to rationalize continuing to run it back with the same 2 yards in a cloud of dust offense. I just don't see how they'd be able to do that. Kayce.
I will go. Okay.
Kayce, I'm going to let Jack go.
Oh, okay.
Jack, ladies first. Go ahead, Kayce.
I had Brent Venables. Brian Kelly. I think I did my list a little bit differently than you. I think your guys are like, if they don't win, they're going to be on the hot seat.
I feel like yours is almost, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like yours might be almost the coaches who will prove the most.
No, I think that if they have bad seasons, they're in big, like from a conversation standpoint, the negativity will be spinning out of control.
Right.
But if they keep status quo or are better than they were, they're in a really good spot. So Brian Kelly, we talked about him last week, and I know we've been talking a lot. The way that LSU started last season and the way that they ended, they almost backdoor the college football playoff. Brian Kelly going into this season has so much, especially with Alabama, quote, being down, if you want to buy into that. The SEC West right now is wide open for LSU to take over if they want to. Brian Kelly having the success that he did at Notre Dame and then ending the season the way that they did, and I understand that they lost. They could have been in the playoff. They got embarrassed by A&M. Brian Kelly has a lot of expectations around him. I have Billy Napier, because when we went into last season and we looked at Florida, Florida State, and Miami, we did not know who we thought was, I know we had our opinions. All three of those teams kind of had just even expectations. Florida was not good last year, and Anthony Richardson just got drafted in the top 5 in the NFL draft. Surprisingly, but still. Billy Napier, you talk about a guy that wants to change the culture. Can he do it again this year? Or can he prove that he is actually that guy? Did they hire the right guy? I have Ryan Day, and I know that's crazy because they've only lost.
I don't think that's crazy at all.
They've lost 6 games, I think, total in his 4 years. But the fact that they've had 3 defensive coordinators and their defense did get a little bit better. They were the closest to Georgia from what we saw in the playoff last year. However, you don't lose to Michigan twice and at Ohio State and keep people happy. Everybody said, oh, look, he inherited Urban's program. Can he continue to build this program? For some reason, there's just this weird feeling around him. And Big Ev did fire Ryan Day in the middle of that game. So if that's the way that Ohio State fans feel,
to me, that's classless. I think that's shitty. I think that's not a real fan. If you're firing your coach in the middle of a game, grow the fuck up, man. Mm-hmm. Be a man.
Yeah, just
why would anyone ever do that?
Yeah,
it's just embarrassing.
Especially don't tweet about it. Don't say it publicly or on a hot mic or anything like that.
Well, okay, now we're getting too far.
But in all seriousness, Ohio State, we talk a lot about how it's Michigan and Ohio State in their division. If Penn State takes that next step, which a lot of people do, and Ohio State loses to Michigan again, could they fall to 3rd in the pecking order? I think it'd be crazy to say, but they could. And then this is one that I know people are going to say it's just being a homer or being cliche. I think that Deion is very high on that list because everything that's happened with him in the offseason and all the expectations that people have, whether they're fair or not, about where Colorado is in the Pac-12 and in the college football playoff scenario, losing some of the players that he has, the whole bringing in his luggage and it being Louis and all the quotes, there's so much attention on that coaching job. And if, let's just say hypothetically, and I hope it doesn't happen, but they don't win more than 1 or 2 games, and then you have an exodus of players again, that looks really bad for Deion. He's got to at least win. I don't even know what that number will look like. It'll be interesting by the time we get to this season what it looks like.
I think it's 5 or 6.
That's 5 or 6 seems fair, which is so insane because they won 1 last year.
6.
But if they can get 5 or 6, but the people, Jack, I know you've tweeted it, but people want to see him fail so badly.
The issue with that is you say that, and that's fine. We don't know who's going to be on the team. They still got to fill out 20 spots, 15 spots.
Aren't that many?
And they've been filling it. The last couple.
The people showing up that are left ain't that.
They had a Florida State offensive lineman today, I think.
Yeah, they bring in. Hopefully they bring in a lot of people and they're good. Yeah. If they're good, it's good for us. And I'm not just saying that because Deion's connected to Barstool. It's just there will be more hype behind college football.
Yeah.
My coaches, or are we going to do Katie's?
I don't care who goes.
You go.
There's a few on here I'm surprised you guys haven't said. I
was saving one for you.
Yep, that's one of mine too.
Oh, I didn't put him.
You didn't put Mel Tucker?
Really?
No.
You just don't believe he's good enough to prove himself.
He's like almost finished in my mind.
That's why I Billy Napier, I actually wrote down, but I didn't say him because I just don't think he's good enough.
Yeah, it's just I don't even think, even if he had a great year, I would still be like, you have to prove it to me again next year.
He has to prove it, but you don't think he has any potential.
Ryan Day, Ohio State.
Yeah, I'm surprised nobody said him.
He's my biggest one this year. I think he has to almost win not win a national championship, but I think he's got to get there again.
If he doesn't beat Michigan.
If he loses to Michigan, yeah. All right, Sark. This is a massive year for Sark. This is a guy I'm surprised none of you guys said. This is a huge year for Dabo.
Yeah?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because Florida State's
coming.
Yeah. And if they remember, hey, we used to have these reigns, and you were the little brother that couldn't win.
Yeah.
And we're sick of you having that title, so give it back to me.
Yeah.
Then, number 4, and I think this is one of the biggest, because I think Lincoln Riley's proved himself enough. Alex Grinch, the defensive coordinator.
Yes, please.
And also, as a guy that's been labeled as somebody who is supposed to be not great, but a top-tier defensive coordinator within college football.
Yeah.
You think, and if you...
he keeps getting jobs. He keeps getting elite jobs. Well, I guess it's with the same
Lincoln
guy.
Riley really believes in him. And then 5th, and I truly do believe this, Nick Saban has a lot to prove this year.
Okay. Here's where I differed on that with you, and I didn't put him down. I think there's a potential he does prove a lot, but ultimately I don't think he has to prove it.
You're right.
So like if he didn't prove it, are we going to say Nick Saban he's not a good coach? But I think
people will say he's washed.
But I think if you were predicting the coaches who could prove the most this year, Saban is on that list. So it's really a language.
I also look at it kind of like a fight. In MMA, there's 5 rounds.
Yeah.
For the past 2 years of this 5-round fight, you could say, like Nick Saban has lost to Kirby.
Yeah.
And if you lose for a 3rd round, now your only way you're getting back into a fight is if you knock somebody out. And I don't think he'd be able to do that in the 4th or 5th round. So, I mean, it wouldn't...
And also, how many rounds he got left?
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that means it changes anything in terms of Nick Saban's legacy. But this is a big year to see if he's still, really on top of the sport. Instead of... He'll always be on top of the sport, but top G.
You didn't have Brent Venables?
I should have put Brent Venables in, but I put...
There's also been a name, and I'll circle back at the end if nobody says him, that I wrote down that I don't have. So Katie says she has 2 names.
I have 2.
Okay.
I have Pat Fitzgerald.
Okay. Northwestern.
It is funny how it's in a on-year, off-year, on-year, off-year, and then it has 2 off-years in a row.
Yeah.
Wisconsin's changing. Iowa might change. They have to change it up. And then Neil Brown.
Neil Brown, West Virginia. Yeah.
Bob Huggins might have just paid his buyout, but it's also, you have Houston, UCF, BYU, Cincinnati coming in. He's already kind of the bottom of the heap. Oklahoma, Texas is losing, or they're losing them. If they want to rebrand with the new Big 12, they have to do it.
West Virginia is almost a school that
should be in the ACC.
That looks at, wow, we had the world in our hands.
Yeah.
And we really blew it. Because when they left the Big East to go to the Big 12, they were on top of the world.
Well, I even go back. I think there's 2 different parties there that if they could put it all back together and recreate the magic, if you could go back and have a time machine, both parties would do it. I think if he had a time machine, Rich Rod would never leave West Virginia. And West Virginia would, and they would keep that rolling. Like they had lightning in a bottle. And a bottle at West Virginia.
I would almost say if they could go back, it would almost be better if we could go back. Stop it there. No more conference realignment.
Yeah.
Syracuse or like Boston College, go back to the Big East.
Yeah.
Miami and Florida State, even though they were in the Big East, and Virginia Tech, Florida State wasn't, but I meant Miami and Virginia Tech were in the Big East.
Yeah. Pitt.
Keep them, and then it continues the regionality of college football that we all love. That is gone now.
It's going to be really gone when the Big Ten adds.
Yes, it's much different.
Did you have anybody else to mention?
Nope. I had Brian Kelly, Billy Napier, Jimbo. Sorry, it's 6. Fitzgerald, Mel Tucker, Neil Brown.
Oh wow, nobody said Jimbo.
Yeah.
Oh, that wasn't?
That's interesting. I mean, it's true.
I know it's true, but you talk about Billy Napier.
Yeah.
And you're just like, Like, that's the way I feel.
Okay, one more that I didn't hear that I wrote down and was going to be on my list, but I only had 5. Marcus Freeman.
Oh, yep.
Notre Dame. Like, you got your quarterback now. Like, if you're going to give me an excuse of why you lost to Marshall and why you kind of stumbled out of the gate, okay, because you beat Clemson and you played well against Ohio State, so I get it. I see there's talent there, but now you got your quarterback. Prove that you're worthy of the Notre Dame job.
Well, and a lot of times when you see somebody internally get hired, especially because, when Brian Kelly left, it was just shocking that the first year you kind of give them, okay, we'll see. This is a huge, huge loss, especially losing him to an SEC school. Now it's like, okay, this is your team.
Yeah.
And he's a Catholic now.
All right. Now, team-wise, I think we can just go very quickly because
I'd
we've already
start with teams that the head coach wasn't named. If
I mean,
assume.
I mean, why don't we just list our?
I wrote down 5 teams. I'll just say.
Yeah, go for it.
My 5 teams that have the most approved this year.
Yep.
The Miami Hurricanes, the Oklahoma Sooners, the Florida Gators, the Michigan State Spartans, and the Texas Longhorns.
Jack.
Texas, Alabama, Florida State, Penn State, Clemson.
I have Alabama, USC, Clemson, Florida, Colorado.
Penn State, Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan State, and then TCU.
TCU's a
I
good
like
one.
that one. I like that one a lot. I thought
TCU's
about
a
them for a
great
second,
one.
but I was like, nah, I don't want to kick the Hornets' nest anymore than I
I
already
think
have.
Colorado, I get what you're saying, 100%. But I think this year could be a complete wash. I mean, 0-12 is a little bit different. But this year it could go 3-9. I don't think it matters.
I think it's going to be tough to also distinguish between what the public and the media think is good versus what is actually good in college football. TCU has kind of ruined it. Lincoln Riley's ruined it for first-year head coaches. But I think the mass will see 4 wins and be like, that's a failure.
That's the thing is, like Colorado fans, like the rational ones would agree with that. I think that there's just so much hype around it. And it's not, and same thing that you just said.
I see where you're coming from and completely agree.
But they don't. But if they go 3-9, it's not like he's going to get fired. So I do agree with that as well.
But you are right from the perspective of, and what Katie just said, like the media is going to spin it.
Oh yeah.
And it's on. But I think Dion, and we've even seen it. All he talks about is next year, and this year obviously he's like we're getting guys in the transfer portal. But next year's the big year.
Katie, what time is it?
5:38.
Yep.
I don't think we're gonna have time to tear the helmets.
Well, I guess we don't even have time to do the 2-minute drill either.
Oh, we got that. We got time to do a 2-minute drill.
Okay.
I forgot about 2-minute drill.
Well, we don't have to. We can
No, let's
save
do
it.
it.
I'm just almost so devastated about the helmets. Let's do 2-minute drill. Cheer me up.
I can do.
We
it
gotta
quick.
finish on something. And
Okay. Well, I only have. I mean, I have 4. I have 5 written down, but 4 I really like.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Go.
Okay. So we're gonna do an old school MFK.
All right.
Oh my God.
All right.
Nick Saban, Kirby Smart, your school's current head coach.
Are they in their current state or their prime?
I'm marrying one. I'm fucking one.
Well, not literally, but yes.
I'm killing one.
Current state or prime?
Let's say prime.
Marrying Saban.
Well, obviously, I'm not going to kill my guy. I just went
That'd
through
be
that.
brutal. Yeah.
Yeah, that you can't do that. So that's this question. This question was kind of putting
also,
you in a corner.
I know him, so I don't want him to think I want to fuck him.
Yeah, but in the hypothetical here, like I'm saying, like marrying would be like, this is your guy for the rest of time.
But I don't want to fuck Nick Saban. I'd want to marry Nick Saban.
Okay.
Because he's got the most money.
So also, when he was younger.
So you're killing.
So
by the way, I'd like this on record for all of you people in the room.
All right.
I'm not saying you physically have to do these things.
It's marry, friendship, or kill.
So in a head
I want to be friends with Zach Arnett.
Okay. Yeah. So like you're okay with the short term of him.
Yes.
But you're killing Kirby Smart.
And I got to kill. I mean, he's killing college football. He's taking over college football. I'm getting rid of him.
And
Saving
Saban
college
hasn't?
football from Kirby Smart.
Okay. Mine's very cliche.
All right.
I'm killing Jimbo. Marrying Nick Saban. I have friendship with Kirby Smart. I would love to have a dynasty like Alabama. I would love to have short-term back-to-back national titles. I would not like to miss a bowl game ever again.
Who are you killing?
Jimbo.
That's easy for you.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
What about you? I know you don't want to fuck Jim Mora. Oh, maybe you do.
I feel like Brandon took this.
I guess I would Marry Kirby. Fuck Jim Mora. Kill Saban.
Yeah, that's the best. That's the right answer.
Kill Saban.
Kill Saban?
Yeah, I killed him.
He's dead.
I would marry Saban. Friendship Kirby.
Friendship?
That's what he said.
That's what I said. You're killing Mac Brown?
Oh.
God.
And he's getting old, too? That's
crazy.
That's
crazy.
I did give her the option for him
Also,
in his
you-
prime.
Oh, hold on,
You did
wait.
kill us.
Yeah, it's
You
prime.
killed a 71-year-old man
Not
yourself.
Texas.
But he's like 52 in my
He's also a
mind.
robot, yeah.
He probably.
Mac Brown's an actual old man.
Yeah, Mac Brown's
Yeah,
sweet.
I see him on the sidelines. Like, ain't no way he's coaching.
Who's the all-time?
Yeah, I stand by
There's no
that.
way that guy's coaching. I guess it was Paterno at the end. He wasn't coaching.
Paterno wasn't coaching.
I don't think Bowden was coaching.
Bowden at the end was brutal.
Yeah.
Oh, you know who was also pretty brutal at the end? Beamer.
Oh, he.
Well, Snyder was sharp to the end, though. wasn't
Yeah,
he still is
he,
sharp.
And he just seems like he always has like candy in his pockets.
Snyder also seems like he's been an old man for 30 years.
He's never been young.
Yeah.
He was never. I can't imagine.
Snyder
him
was
being-
never young.
Never young. Never young.
All right.
Damn, Katie killed Mac Brown.
That's crazy.
You made her.
Head coach.
You made her.
I didn't. I knew mine was going to be the easiest one.
All right, go.
Okay, if you could take one other tradition from any school and make it yours, what would it be?
I like that one. Ooh, I like that one a lot. Okay. So, do I want them to run down and touch a rock? No, that's stupid. Do I want them to... I think I got mine.
What is it?
Ralphie.
I think I'm taking Enter Sandman. I think I want to steal it. It's incredible. Plus, Virginia Tech, Mississippi State, not all that crazy of a comparison.
Imagine Enter Sandman with cowbells.
Enter Sandman with cowbells?
Ugh.
Oh, my. Yes. Done.
I mean,
That would be incredible.
unless you're sitting in the stadium, it'd be awesome on
Cowbells
TV.
are awesome, and you know they're awesome.
Yeah, well,
I'm taking
you also have to
country
take
roads.
Advil.
For UConn?
UConn's in the country.
There's
Have
not
you
there's
seen-
nothing
it
there's
was
not
cows
a piece
corn,
of there's not
cows,
country in
grass,
Connecticut.
UConn.
Are you kidding? UConn, if we brought you to Storrs, Connecticut, you'd be in shock.
UConn's in the country.
Can't
Yes.
confirm.
No chance. There's not country in New England.
Countryside.
There is country in New England.
No, y'all don't know what country is.
It was literally like corn, grass,
Country
grass,
roads.
grass, Yukon.
Take me
UConn.
home.
Don't
Grass,
don't
grass,
get us
grass, grass,
demonetized.
Connecticut. I mean, that doesn't even work.
So we're all going with the music. It seems like.
Well, I did.
So did he.
Also, the Appalachian Trail goes through Connecticut.
What's yours, Katie?
It's not really tradition, but I just like to have a full stadium.
That's not.
That's so sad.
That
That's
is
not.
so sad.
It's such a basketball school. I have football. I want
No,
people to-
no.
You don't have
You
I-
take somebody's
listen,
tradition.
Can I do
Listen,
tailgates?
I
We don't have
kind of like that
tailgating
she
law,
went
'cause we're on
that sad.
campus.
All right, whose tailgate would you take?
Anyone in the SEC?
Say a name.
Say it. Say it.
Fine. I'm purposely going to say Alabama.
Oh.
Oh, she thought that's what I was gonna get mad at.
I'm saying not saying Mississippi State
No.
or not. You want me to say Ole Miss?
Yeah.
I want Fires.
That's true. You gotta have fires.
Yeah, we're on the middle. We
R.I.P.
love our
Mincy.
campus.
Go.
Great stadium, but it's on the middle of campus, so you can't tailgate.
I'm gonna take. So I had two that I love the eagle flying around at Auburn. I think that is so cool. I do not understand.
Fuck y'all gonna do with the eagle at Texas A&M?
Well, yeah. So that's why I'm not using that. But I still don't understand how you train that fucking bird to do that. I do
Yeah.
not get it. I think jump around would be awesome at Kyle Field.
Yeah.
Jump around would
no,
be
I-
awesome.
So we all went music.
Yeah.
Well, except for Katie, who went tailgating.
But how?
No,
how do
Katie
you-
went full stadium.
That's sad.
She went fans.
What's the capacity of your stadium?
Big ass.
60 something,
You guys got a nice stadium. Big ass stadium.
decent size.
60.
Thick ass
I think
stadium.
so. Thick.
Dummy
Right.
thick. Imagine thinking 60,000 people is a big stadium. Couldn't be me.
not.
Well, I think 60,000 people is
Yeah.
a fine stadium. I don't think there's anything wrong with 62,000
There's
people.
nothing wrong with
62,000 diehards with cowbells.
51. Sorry.
Oh, 50. Imagine,
Damn, you're not that much bigger than the rent. Rent's 45.
And we can't fill that.
Imagine not having over 100,000
I
capacity
gotta get
and
on.
still
I
not
gotta
making
get
it to a
sharp.
bowl game.
I gotta get sharp
Imagine
because
actually
I'm
being
trying to think.
fulfilled at 30% capacity
Trying to
during
think
COVID.
of the name of Carolina Stadium. Hold on, don't tell me. I got to go through some names. Carter Finley is NC State.
Yep.
This is when his like Rain Man.
Yeah, Carter Finley is
Oh, yeah.
NC State. All right. Who's Ross Aid? Is that
Nope.
Purdue? Ross Aid. Okay. It's a named stadium. It's got a name. No, is it a grocery store? No, hold on.
It ain't.
It's not Krogerfield.
No,
That's
it's a name. Oh, it went through. I got to get it back. It's not Carter Finley. But it has a name.
He's like short circuit.
It ran through my mind so quickly. Fuck. What is it?
Keenan.
Did that run through your mind?
Keenan didn't run through my mind.
Okay.
So
Which one ran through?
Well, he doesn't.
Probably
know.
Probably Duke's name. It's Duke Stadium. All right, continue. Fuck! I got to do the stadium names now. Hold on. All right.
Wallace Wade is Duke.
That's what ran through my mind. That's exactly what ran through my mind. I knew it was a name. All right, continue.
So remember around Halloween when we argued about like candy corn and like certain holiday foods and flavors?
Sure.
What is your favorite food that is socially seen as only acceptable to eat in the summer?
Okay. Well, you know what I'm not going to say?
Watermelon.
Anybody that eats watermelon is crazy.
I love it.
It's just disgusting.
And it's
so
my
good.
answer, but
No, it's a good answer here. It's not the best but I think white wine's probably a good answer.
oh, that's a good answer, Jack.
Sangria.
That's a great answer, Jack. Because now, first of all, red wine in the summer is also delicious. But white wine, like a chilled white wine at the beach.
But people look at white wine as a summer drink.
Yes.
You
or
also
rosé.
can do like the sweet. You can do a Riesling. It doesn't have you don't get frowned upon. I like my sweet white wine.
But hot dogs and all year round, right?
Yeah.
If watermelon is, hot dogs are.
Technically, you can do all of these year round. But
I think watermelon's a summer food.
Right, like
I think hot dogs are a summer
baked beans.
food.
I love baked beans, but if you're like eating like a watermelon, like like the pizza slice of a watermelon, and you're eating in that, and it's like cold outside, you kind of look like an asshole. It's still delicious.
It's hard for me because I'm from the deep south, and it's pretty warm all year round. Like I was gonna say maybe barbecue, but we eat barbecue all year round.
Peaches.
By the way, I found a good place in the city that has decent barbecue.
No, you didn't.
Well, for the city.
I'm leaving.
Okay.
Where'd you find it?
I'm not. No free
Is it Hill
ads.
Country?
Yeah, but I've already had Hill Country. But this place,
Mighty?
it's like called like Texas something. It's on the Upper East Side.
Texas
It
Roadhouse.
ain't Dallas.
No, Dallas barbecue is disgusting.
Their
no
margaritas though are great.
I'm going to Chicago, so I don't need.
What's your answer?
You don't have one.
I don't remember the question. The
Summer
summer foods.
food.
Okay. I don't have one.
For some
Snow
reason,
cones.
great. You know what I was gonna say? The
Snowballs.
was when I look at you, sometimes I think of Kate Upton.
Yeah.
Because
What?
you always talk about Kate Upton's cover with the what are those, the bomb pops?
Yeah.
The red, white, and blue.
Those are awesome.
Bomb pops are good.
Snowballs, snow cones.
Snow cone. What's your flavor?
I think just an ice cream and a cone.
Or the ice.
I had one over the weekend for the first time. I think I had ice cream and a cone.
I don't know the
when
last
I
time
would
I've had
take
ice cream and
when my
cone.
grandfather would take me to the snowball place, I would get half banana, half bubble gum, and it was yellow and blue, and it would be green in the middle. What was yours? Was half banana?
I did half banana, half coconut,
Yeah.
and so it would be green in the middle.
Okay. Yeah. mine was yellow and blue, and then about halfway through it was yellow, green, and blue.
Yep, me too.
And then you mix it all up, and it was just green.
Oh, see, no, I would never mix mine up.
I didn't mix it up, but as you eat it, it would.
Yeah,
kinda
no,
mix
I
itself.
always tried to do the OCD thing where I kept the colors.
When you had those like lunchroom little ice cream cups that has the paper lid.
Yeah, but they had that
That had
weird
the spoon.
stick.
Barstool, this is Brandon Walker talking. I don't want you to listen to me.
Did you ever mix it?
You often do treats for us. Sometimes you'll bring in massages. Sometimes you'll bring in certain things. One day I want to show up to this lobby, and I want there to be a snowball stand when we just get snow cones that day.
Snow cones are so good, and they're
Yes? You wouldn't do that?
Snow cones are overrated as fuck.
But
Excuse
you have
me,
it once
sir.
a year?
I
Once a
agree with
year?
Jack.
Just to enjoy
a
being a kid
novelty.
again?
Just give me soft
It's
serve
favorite
ice
ice.
cream.
But yeah, but if you do the right flavor
Well,
and the right
then
mix,
guess
and then
what?
you put
Stay
alcohol
fucking
in
home
it.
on Snowball Day.
icy's better.
Okay?
All right, that's fair.
What about you,
I-
Noah?
Ices are so
You down for
much
Snowball Day? Fuck you, Noah.
I will be right in front of the line with you. Good old pickle snow cone with some vodka in it.
What?
What?
What? That doesn't sound good.
No.
No.
This is about being a kid, not being a drunk.
Okay, a banana coconut snow cone.
Okay, there you go.
Banana? Coconut.
Bananas.
Snow-
Banana snow cone is so good.
There's a place in College Station.
There's a place
where
in
you can
Starkville.
where you can buy like a whole cooler of just balls of snow, so you can have your own snowball fight. So we would go to the snow cone place.
They're such a cult.
Get our snow cones and then buy coolers full of them and go in the street and have snowball fights.
Did you see the Yale eaters having snowball fights?
And then they throw one too hard and they go shut it down. Like, are you okay?
I will say that Jack's answer with the white wine is probably the best, because white wine and rosé, if you walk through the city, as soon as the weather even starts to change, the basic bitches, hand up, me included,
okay,
white wine and rosé.
Y'all stand back. And Texan, you stand back too, because I'm going to talk to my deep South people.
Okay.
My deep South people. I'm talking about my deep South. Okay? I'm talking about below Tennessee and below. The summer was tomato sandwiches growing up. My dad would always eat tomato sandwiches. I didn't like tomatoes. So there was always be a table full of tomatoes in my house, out of the garden.
I hate tomatoes.
The thing I liked was the summer corn. We call it sweet corn, maybe summer corn, like corn in July, August, fresh out of the ground. That's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's white. It's a little whiter down there.
Tomatoes with some salt on them.
I never got into tomatoes, but my dad would, and my grandfather, white bread, tomato, salt, little mayonnaise on the other piece, close it up, and that's a sandwich to them.
BLTs are so much better.
I would never eat a tomato sandwich either, but they would. That's what they would eat. All right. And my Uncle Donnie, the best tomato grower in Mississippi.
Can he send some tomatoes?
Oh yeah.
Tell
he probably
Uncle
won't.
Donnie.
He's cheap, but
I'll pay for it.
How many more you got?
Was that 3 or 4?
I don't remember. Has your hand been wrapped the whole
4.
time?
Yeah, I talked about it earlier.
God, sorry.
Did she?
I scratched open mosquito bites.
Oh. You got a full ass wrap because of mosquito bite?
Well, I didn't realize that this Band-Aid was as big as it was when I bought it, and I don't have.
That looks like you've been dismembered.
I don't have Band-Aids at home. I know that'll change once my son can walk around.
Hold your hand up like that. Oh, the lights are not. Yeah. It's covering her whole hand for a mosquito bite.
I will say, in her defense for the Band-Aid thing, so I just moved, and there's the amount of small little things you don't realize. Like Kayce more recently moved.
Yeah.
Like scissors, ice cube trays.
Oh,
Band-Aids.
batteries, yeah.
How am I supposed to know?
No one thinks to give you a list of that stuff.
All right, that was it?
Yeah, that's it. The other 2 stink, so. And I got to go make sure that
let me see the questions, and I'll tell you if they're worth reading. I'll be honest.
I deleted one.
Okay. What was the other one?
It's football.
What?
Uh-oh. Where'd it go? Oh. I was going to ask that, but that's...
No, I'm good. Yeah. I'm good. Yeah, we can talk about that anytime.
Yeah, that's...
All right. Noah, if you'll bring up the helmets right now, we'll run through it.
Sorry, I wasn't ready to do it. We're going to have to skip it today.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
It's okay, because I got to go relieve the babysitter, so we'll do it next week.
You got to go let the babysitter pee?
Okay. Is that not a word?
Relieve, like if it was a man, it would be a little bit weird.
I got to go let the babysitter go.
Yeah, leave.
It's a shame.
They're fired.
All right. Babysitter, relief is coming. That is unnecessary roughness.